Let me ask you something. If you're a founder, an executive, or a competitive athlete, I bet you've wondered this. Why is there this gap between what I know I can do and what I actually end up doing when everything's on the line? Well, let's break down that frustrating gap and, more importantly, what we can do about it.
Sound familiar? I bet it does. It's that feeling that every single high performer knows all too well. You've put in the reps, you've got the talent, you know your stuff. But the moment the pressure's on, in the boardroom, on the first tee, something just tightens up. That easy, fluid skill you had in practice suddenly feels clunky and forced. It's maddening. And you know what? It actually has a name. It's called the performance paradox. And it's this cruel trick our minds play on us, where the more we want something, the harder it is to get. The pressure you feel actually starts working against you. It creates that gap between your real capability and what you deliver. But here's the key. This isn't a problem with your skill. It's a problem with the mental state you're trying to perform from.
So to really get this, we have to look at the cause. And the cause isn't that you need more practice or to try harder. No, the real answer is found in the fundamental wiring of our own brains.
It all comes down to our basic wiring. Neuroscience shows us our brain pretty much operates like a light switch. At any given moment, we're in one of just two modes. And that single state, that one switch, dictates the quality of everything that comes next, our thinking, our actions, and our access to all that skill we've built.
So here they are, the pursuit state and the avoidance state. The pursuit state is your A game. This is you at your best, you're present, you're creative, your actions are fluid and decisive, you're moving toward what matters. But when the pressure cranks up, it can flip that switch and push us into the avoidance state. This is your brain's threat response kicking in. Your focus narrows from the task at hand to all the bad things that can happen. This is what causes that hesitation, the second guessing, and it just kills your natural flow. The performance paradox is just getting stuck in the avoidance state when you desperately need to be in pursuit.
Okay, so if getting shoved into the avoidance state is the problem, then how in the world do we train ourselves to stay in that high-performance pursuit state, especially when the heat is on? Well, the solution isn't to just cross your fingers and hope for the best, it's to build a real, systematic framework for composure.
And you know what? This entire framework, the whole thing, is built on developing just 3 core mental capacities, 3 skills that are totally trainable. All right, these are the 3 pillars: attention, awareness, and acceptance. First up, attention. This is the raw skill of directing your mind to what matters right now, not getting lost in what might happen or what already did. This is what yanks you back into the pursuit state. Second is awareness. This is about seeing what's happening inside you, the racing thoughts, the tension in your shoulders, and just noticing it without getting swept away. It creates that tiny bit of space you need between a feeling and a reaction. And third, and this one might sound a little backward, is acceptance. It's about letting the pressure and the doubt just be there without fighting them. Because fighting it is what gives the avoidance state its power. When you accept it, you actually take that power away.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, this all makes sense on a slide, but how do you actually train these things so they show up when the stakes are real? And that's a great question. That's where the training environments come in.
Because let's be honest, understanding a concept is a totally different thing from executing under fire. So the training is layered. We start in the workshop. This is a low-pressure zone where you just learn the tools. Then you move to the lab, where you start testing those skills under managed, controlled pressure to make them stick. And finally, you take it into the arena, your real world, the boardroom, the big presentation, the tournament, where the skill gets proven.
And that brings us to the ultimate lab and arena, the one place where these internal mental states become completely, totally visible and trainable, the game of golf. Now, this right here is the absolute heart of the method. See, in a business setting, you can kind of hide an avoidance state. You can over-prepare, lean on your team, deflect. But golf tells the truth. It strips away all the buffers and makes your mental state, that shift from pursuit to avoidance, painfully obvious. A low-stakes driving range is like an internal meeting. A high-stakes tournament, that's your make-or-break negotiation. The parallels are direct.
I mean, just think about why golf is such a powerful mirror. Every single shot is on you. There's no team to bail you out. That performance gap, it's not some vague feeling. It's right there in where the ball lands. And when you make a mistake, you have to recover from it immediately, right out in the open. It is the perfect environment for forging real composure.
So what's the end game? What's the result of all this training? What does it actually feel like to finally close that performance gap? Well, the change is a move away from that forced, effort-filled performance to something way more powerful.
So look at this. On the left is the before state so many people live in. Inconsistent, tight, and performance feels like you're constantly fighting yourself. But the after on the right, that's the goal. You get consistent access to your best self. You make clearer decisions, and your performance feels natural and fluid, especially when the stakes are high. You're not fighting the pressure anymore. You're just performing clearly right inside of it.
So if you remember one thing, let it be this. That ability to be your best when it counts the most, it's not some gift you're either born with or you're not. It is a skill. It is a trained capacity that anyone can build systematically.
So if you've been listening and this resonates, if closing that gap between your potential and your actual performance is a priority for you, then the next step is just a conversation. This is a private, one-on-one advisory, and to learn more, you can reach out directly to Mitch Lowe at Pursuing Golf.